Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel InfoSec. Today we're going to continue our series of web app pen testing from TryHackMe. Have you ever wondered how hackers exploit vulnerable sections in web applications? In today's video, I'm going to show you how to break into insecure system, manipulate cookies and tokens, and uncover some hidden roles like admin and users, all using real-world penetration techniques from this lab, section management. By the end of this video, you'll be able to understand some concepts like section management lifecycles, and the difference between authentications and authorizations, and how they each play a role in session management. We also learn about two main session management methods. And last but not least, we get to practice exploring vulnerable sections implementations in web apps. What is session management? Before we talk about session management, we need to know what a section is. In HTTP protocol, as you may see, it is inherently stateless, meaning that each of the requests sent to the server is independent and they have no relationship with the previous ones. Therefore, sections are created and used to user throughout the use of web applications. Section management is the process of managing these sections and ensuring that they remain secure. Section management life cycles. There are four phases in this life cycle: section creation, section tracking, section timeout, and section termination. We're going to talk about each of those. Section creation. When you first visit the website, a section will be created to track your activity as a guest user. However, when you log in using your username and password, another set of section will be created to track your activities. These two sections before and after authentications are different. However, in some insecure web applications, the sections remain the same even after you log in. So this is something that you must pay attention to. And because this room focuses on application process, so we're mainly talking about the session creations after you successfully log in the web applications. Session tracking. Once you receive your session value, this is submitted with each new request. This allows the web application to track your actions even though the HTTP protocol is stateless in nature. With each request made, the web application can recover the session value from the request and perform a server-side lookup to understand who the session belongs to and what permissions they have. In the event of there are issues with the session tracking process, it may allow a threat actor to hijack the sections or impersonate one. Section expiry, or which is known as session expiration date. Because the HTTP protocol is stateless, it may happen that a user of the web applications all of a sudden stops using it. For example, you may close a tab or entire browser. Since the protocol is stateless, the web application has no method of knowing that this action has occurred. This is where session expiry comes into play. Your session value itself should have a lifetime attached to it. If the lifetime expires and you submit an old session value to the web application, it should be denied as the session should have been expired. Instead, you should be redirected to the login page to authenticate again and start the session management lifecycles all over again. So if you close a browser for so long, when you go back to that specific website, you'll be prompted to log in with your username and password. Otherwise, you won't be able to perform certain activities on the websites. That's how the session expiry comes into place. Session termination. In some cases, the user might forcibly perform a logout action. In the event that this occurred, the web application should terminate user sections. Now, this is similar to the session expiry where the section becomes unavailable after you log out. However, the only difference is that even if the session's lifetime is still valid, after you log out, the session should become invalid, and user has to acquire new session values to continue the activities on the websites. Issues in the termination process could allow a threat actor to gain persistent access to an account. In this show, we take a look at what can go wrong in each of these session states. We want to ensure that session security encapsulates the entire life cycle. However, we first need to cover a bit more theories. Alright, more theories coming up. Get ready, guys. Answering the questions. Which state of the session management lifecycle deal with the user pressing the logout button? That's session termination. Which state of the session management lifecycle deals with users providing their credentials? That's session creation. Which state in the session management lifecycle deals with user actions performed after authentication? Section tracking. And which stage of the session management lifecycle deals with users forget to log out or log out of the application, session expiry. Okay, moving on next. Authentications versus authorizations. To understand the common vulnerabilities in the session management, we first need to examine authentication and authorizations. To better explain the differences, let's examine the IAAA model. I stand for identification, authentication, authorizations, and accountability. Identification is a process of verifying who the user is. This starts with the user claiming to be a specific identity. In most web applications, this is performed by submitting your username or email address. You're claiming that you are that person associated with a specific username, passwords. Oh no, usernames or email. Some applications use unique username, whereas others will take email addresses as the username. Okay, so those are the options for users. Authentication. This is where the user proves who they claim to be by providing passwords. Besides providing passwords, some applications also require users to provide multi-factor authentication, which is another feature or another way to verify themselves. Authentication process ensures that the user is who they say they are. For example, you can supply the password associated with a claimed user. The web application can confirm this information if it's valid or not. This is the point where session creation would kick in. So if you successfully log in, a new session will be created. Authorizations. Authorization is the process of ensuring that specific user has the rights required to perform the action requested. For example, while all users may view data, only a few selected members can modify it. In the session management lifecycle, session tracking plays a crucial role in authorizations. Accountability. Accountability is the process of creating a record of the actions performed by users. We should track the user session and log all actions performed using the specific section. This information plays a critical role in the event of a security incident to piece together what has happened. The IAAA and section management. Now that we understand what IAAA is and what section management is, what are their relationships? The difference between authentications and authorization is that authentication is the process of verifying who the user claims to be, whereas authorization is verifying the permissions or the privilege that the user has to perform certain actions on the application. Authentication plays a role in how sessions are created, whereas authorization becomes important to verify that the user associated with a specific session has the permission to perform the action when they request it. Accountability is crucial for us to piece together what actually occurred in an incident, which means that it is important that requests are logged. What is the name of the process in the IAAA model that will be responsible for tracking your actions and logging them? Accountability. What is the name of the process in the IAAA model that will be responsible for granting you the session value? That's authentication. What is the name of the process in the IAAA model that would be responsible for verifying you have the relevant permission? That's authorization. Authorization. When it comes to session management, there are two main types of sessions that we're going to talk about. The first one is the cookies, and second one is the token-based. Cookie-based session management. This is often called the old school way of managing sessions. Once the application wants to begin tracking, in response, the set cookie header value will be sent. Your browser will interpret this header to store a new cookie value. Let's take a look at a set cookie header. So this is going to be the header set cookie, and this is going to be the key and the values of the session. Your browser will create a cookie entry for cookie name session with a value of 12345, which will be valid for the domain where the cookies are received from. Several attributes can be also added to this header. If you want to learn more about all of them, we can take a look at this one over here. This is the URL. Okay. But some of the noteworthy ones are secure. This attribute indicates to the browser that the cookie may only be transmitted over verified HTTPs as channels. If there are certificate errors or HTTP is used, the cookie value will not be transmitted. HTTP only indicates to the browser that the cookie value may not be read by client-side JavaScript. Expire. This indicates the browser when a cookie value will no longer be valid and should be removed. Same site indicates to the browser whether the cookie may be transmitted in cross-site requests to protect against the CSRF attacks. A key thing to remember with cookie-based authentication is that the browser itself will decide when a certain cookie value will be sent with a request. After reviewing the domain and the attributes of the cookie, the browser makes this decision, and the cookie is attached automatically without any additional client-side JavaScript code. Token-based. Token-based session management is a relatively new concept. Instead of using the browser's automatic cookie management features, it relies on the client-side code to process. After authentication, the web application provides a token within the request body. Using client-side JavaScript code, this token is stored in the browser's local storage. When a new request is made, JavaScript code must load the token from the storage and attach it to the header. One of the most common types of the token is JSON Web Tokens, or JWT, which are passed through the Authorization's meta header. However, as we are not using the browser's built-in cookie management features, it is a bit of the Wild West where anything can go. Although there are standards, nothing is really forcing anything from sticking to these standards. Here's a little bit comparison of the benefits and the drawbacks of the cookie-based management and token-based management. In cookie-based management, cookie is automatically sent by the browser with each request, whereas the token has to be submitted as a header with each request using the client-side JavaScript. In cookie session management, cookie attributes can be used to enhance the browser's protection of the cookie. Tokens do not have these mechanisms. Therefore, they have to be safeguarded against exposure by the developers. Cookies can also be vulnerable to conventional client-side attacks such as CSRF, where the browser is tricked into making requests on behalf of the users. As the token is not automatically added to any request and cannot be read from the local storage by other domains, conventional client-side attacks such as CSRF are blocked. For cookie session management, cookies are locked into a specific domain. It can be difficult to use them securely in decentralized web applications. Tokens, on the other hand, work well with decentralized web applications as they are managed through JavaScript and can only contain all the information required to verify the token itself. So, token-based sessions are a little bit more flexible when you work with multiple applications at the same time or microservices. Okay, answering the questions. What cookie attribute can be used to ensure that the cookie is only transmitted by a secure HTTPS channel? It's secure. What HTTP header is used in the response to inform the browser that cookie is being sent? That's going to be a set cookie. What HTTP header is often used in requests to indicate the transmissions of a JWT? It's authorization. Mirror. Coming up next, securing the session lifecycle. It is finally time to learn about the session management security. Going back to our session management lifecycles, we have 4 different phases to secure. First, session creation. Session creation is where most vulnerabilities can creep in. Let's dive into a couple of them. Weak sessions value. It is less common to see weak session values in modern times, as frameworks are consistently used. However, with the rise of LLM and other AI code assistance solutions, you will be surprised at how often these old-school vulnerabilities are creeping back in. If a custom session creation mechanism has been implemented, there is a good chance that the session values may be guessable. A good example of this mechanism that's simply base64 encodes the username as the session value. If a threat actor can reverse engineer the session creation process, they can generate or guess the session values to hijack the accounts of the legitimate users. Controllable session values. In certain tokens such as the JWTs, all relevant information to both create and verify the JWT's validity is provided. If security measures are not enforced, such as verifying the token signatures or ensuring that the signature itself was created securely, a threat actor would be able to generate their own token. These types of attacks will be discussed in more detail in a future room. Session fixation. When we talk about web applications that already gave you a session before applications, this is where the issue lies. So a lot of insecure web applications, they will have the same session value even after you log in the application. If your session value is not adequately rotated once you authenticate, position threat actor could record it when you are still unauthenticated and wait for you to authenticate to get access to your session. Insecure session transmission. In modern environments, it is common for the authentication server or the application servers to be distinct. Think about things like single sign-on SSO solution. One application is used for authentication to several other web applications. In order for this process to work, the session material must be transferred from the authentication server to the application server via your browser. In this transmission, however, certain issues can creep in that would expose your session information to a threat actor. The most common is an insecure direct, where the threat actor can control the URL where you will be redirected to the post-authentication. This could allow the threat actor to hijack your session. This isn't just with custom implementations. Oracle's SSO solution has a massive mode that allows this to happen. Moving on to the next one, session tracking. So there are a few vulnerabilities regarding session tracking. Authorization bypass. Authorization bypasses occur when there aren't sufficient checks being performed on when a user is allowed to perform actions they requested. This fails to track the user's actions and is associated right correctly. It is also worth talking about two types of authorization bypasses. Vertical bypasses. You can perform an action that is reserved for a more privileged user. Horizontal bypass. You can perform an action that you are allowed to perform, but on a dataset that you should not be allowed to perform an action. The vertical bypass is like privilege escalation in penetration testing. You, as a regular user, try to escalate to an admin user and try to perform some actions that can be only performed by an admin user. Horizontal bypass is like you try to read others' information. In most applications, vertical bypasses are easy to defend against, since function decorators and path-based access control combinations are used. However, in horizontal bypasses, the user is performing an action that they should not be allowed to perform. The issue is that they are performing it on someone else's data. To remedy this, actual code is required to verify who the user is, which data they are requesting, and if they are allowed to request or modify dataset. Insufficient logging. A key issue during incident is not having sufficient information to piece together an attack. While a lot of will occur at infrastructure level, application logging can be crucial to understanding what went wrong. In the event that the actions performed by a specific session and the ability to retrace that session to a user do not exist, it can leave gaps in the investigations that cannot be filled. It is also worth making sure that logs cover both accepted and rejected actions. In the event of session hijacking attempt, the actions will appear legitimate. Therefore, simply log and reject actions not sufficient to paint the picture. Session expiry. Session expiry only has a single vulnerability, which is when the expiry time for sessions are exceeded. A session should be like a movie ticket. Each night, the same movie ticket is shown, but we don't want someone to be able to use the same ticket to watch the movie again and again. The same for discount sections. We need to make sure that our session expiry time takes into consideration our specific application's use case. A banking application should have a shorter session lifetime than your webmail clients. Furthermore, in the event of a long life section, such as those for webmail clients, the session itself should attest to the location where it is used. If the location changes, the session should be terminated. Finally, session termination. For session termination, the key issue is when sessions are not properly terminated on server side when the logout action is performed. Suppose a threat actor will hijack a user session. In that case, even if the user becomes aware of the issue, without the ability to invalidate the session server side. There isn't a method for the user to flush the access to the thread after. However, this can be quite an issue for tokens where the lifetime of the token is embedded in the token itself. In these cases, the token can be added to a block list to be verified against. Some applications also take this further where all the sections of the user can be viewed and terminated. Furthermore, upon a successful password reset, it is also recommended that all sessions are terminated to allow a user to regain full control of their account. Answer the questions. Alright, what phase of the session management lifecycle would be vulnerable if you should predict what the value of session would be? That is session created. What phase of the session management lifecycle would be vulnerable if you don't have the ability to flush the thread after access to your session? That's session termination. What phase of the session management lifecycle would be vulnerable if there wasn't sufficient information to piece together what happened during the incident? That is session tracking. Apple. Alright, what phase of the session management lifecycle would be vulnerable if session about your service was transmitted through an insecure redirect? That is session creation. Okay. Exploring insect session management. So we have started the victim machines right here. Again, usually before doing any pen testing, we should do some enumeration to gain information about the target system. And in this case, it's going to be this IP address right here. Let's take a look at it. To effectively exploit a vulnerable session management lifecycle, we first need to map out the lifecycle for ourselves and capture detailed nodes. On the understanding of intended lifecycle, we can start looking for the weaknesses. We will be using a built-in browser tools like demonstrations. However, you can also follow along with more advanced web application testing tools like Burp. Let's navigate to this website and we see the flow of the page. So we see username, password, login, sign up. Let's see a sign up page. We have sign up as a student and register as lecturer. So from this registration page, we know that there could possibly be two roles, students and lecturer. Let's try to sign up with the student. Student. Info set. Lab. Passwords. Sign up. Now, okay. Let's try signing up as a lecturer. Info set lecturer. Oh, we need verification code. Let's just skip it for now. Let's just sign in as a student. Student info set lab and then password. Okay, welcome to the dashboard. Immediately we get the error. Let's go to this one and see. So let's inspect what happens. We go into storage right here. Okay, let me enlarge the screen for you to see. Over here, we don't see any sections available. So usually the status code 500, we might think of it as a server-side problem. And this might indicate that there was something wrong with the session termination. Remember we talked about that earlier. If a server fails to terminate a session, then it would be resolved in an error that we as user on the client side has no control of. So this might be the case right here, We're not sure yet. So right now, we log in as a user, but we don't have any sections about you. How about let's try to see if there's any sections before we log in. Okay, there's nothing. So let's see in the network tab. Here, see what happens. So we got a post request. Okay, we get some files right here. I don't know what it is. Just gonna keep track of it. Oh, copy as code. Let's try it. And then let's take a look at the read post request right here. What does that? This is a request and this is a response. Oh, we have the set cookie sections right here. Let's try that. Let's copy it all. And we're going to put it in a note right here. So now we logged in. Let's go to the storage and set the cookie section. This is going to be the name. This is going to be the value. The main stays the same. The path might stay the same. This is expert X, Tuesday, February. Let's do it. This is the expiration date. HTTP only. Path is right here. Same size, none. Wait, HTTP only is true. Okay. And the same size only is none. Okay, let's try to refresh it. Okay, yay. We are able to access the dashboard. Let's see. Haha, students, I am a student. I have the modules. Got the classes. Okay, so what else do we have right here? So what have we discovered so far? So far now we know that there must be something wrong with it. There's got to be something wrong with the session termination process, which is why it results in 500 errors when we log in. And we have to manually input the cookie sections into the web applications after we log in to see the dashboard. So that's something that you can keep note of. And then now we're browsing through the application. Let's see if we can find anything else. This is the section that we had. How about this? Okay, so we have a new token right here. This looks okay. So we have the email, no name, students, role, everything. So this looks like a JWT token. Remember, it's stored in the local storage, and there's gotta be something from the client side of this from this web application that retrieve this information. Let's inspect the page to see if there's anything interesting. View pages. Check. Nothing suspicious. Got a module, enroll. Okay, we have successfully enrolled. Tests. Attempt. And let's go back here. After creating user account we receive from has been created, we navigate back to login page. Okay, we logged in. And cookies are being used for session management. The only side is that this is the one that we saw earlier, where we retrieve the section and the cookie values. All right. Cookies are being used for the session management. The HTTP only flag is set, which means that we would not be able to leverage JavaScript to read the cookie value. The cookie expiry time seems weird, since most of the creation and expiration date are the same. Was it? This is the expiration date. What was it creating? Secure last access. Yeah, interesting. I don't see any issue here because the expiration date is set to be 1 month later after the creation date. Let's keep reading. So this one we can't verify on our end. With this authentication, we also noticed that we somehow get access to more functionalities. Using the navigation menu, reveal the network traffic, you can see the session traffic enforced through the cookie that's been transmitted with each request. Oh yeah. So every time we click on these tabs in the network tab, this value is sent. Let's try again. Take a look. We see this session's value, this cookie value is sent every time we try to click on a tab. So that's what it is. That's the cookie-based my section. Okay, so now let's go this one. This one, I believe, is going to be the token-based section, which is created and managed by that server and managed by a client side. Over here, we see some interesting key values. So now we're interested in the role right here, the user role right here. Let's try to see. Remember on the registration page, we learned that there may be 2 roles, students and lecturer. Let's try that. Refresh it. Okay, looks like we have one more tab. Module. New student. Okay. That's something interesting. TryHackMe's got the user tests. Test ID. Oh, cool. We are able to see what the test is. We also have the permission to edit the test. Okay. we want to copy the test. Okay. Everything looks good. Total module test student. Nothing much. Let's see. Let's try another role. Now, one thing you can try is admin. This is very popular amongst web applications. Like you have regular roles and the admin roles. Some applications they try to avoid using admin as the main role. They use like super admin, moderator, or something else like that um, to avoid being detected by the attackers. But a lot of times, applications just use admin as the main role. So let's try that. Uh, what we got? The lecturers, we got the students, we got the modules, everything. So now we've confirmed that the admin role is available. So we now confirm that the admin role exists on this application. We have total 1 lecture. We have total 3 modules. Okay, total 6 students, 2 tests. What else do we have? Here we also get the student's name right here, student ID. Let's try to see if we can read some other students' data. So we know student who right here. Let's try that. No. ID is 4, name is student 2. I don't know what role is left there. The username is student 2. Let's see if we can read the information from other students as a regular student. Looks like we're able to read the student's 2 profile and information. This is horizontal bypass. Okay, cool. So let's go back to the admin room. Vertical bypass. Let's perform that one more time. Vertical bypass. Just change this one to admin, and I think we should be good. Let's go. Okay. So these are just like the tutorials of what we just did. Play around with updating user role. We had changed from student to lecturer, and then we also changed from lecturer to admin, and then we were able to retrieve information. Here's a summary of what the vulnerabilities of the application are. Lifecycle phase session creation, a combination of cookie and token-based session management is being used. Yes, that's true. We confirm that right here. This is the cookie base, and this is the token base. In session creation, a new session value is provided for each login attempt. We also verify that. Session creation, the session value itself appears to be insufficiently random. It is random. Session tracking, unauthentication. Unauthenticated actions are not tracked by a session. We confirm that by checking the cookie sections before we log in, and we saw nothing. Remember when we first tried to assign a sections value to a login user, and we tried to look at it before the authentication process, and we found nothing? Session tracking, the cookie is sent in each request for the tracking. We confirm that. Session tracking, several requests can be made without cookie. Let's try that. It's true. Look at that. All right, so we've confirmed that we can make requests with other cookie values. Okay, section tracking. The initial token values that are loaded post authentication dictate the visible information. Yes, right here in the local storage. You see email, name, students, everything. It also displays the roles where we can just abuse and leverage to the admin role. Section expiry, there's a mismatch between the client side. This one I wasn't able to verify, so if any of you could do it, please let me know in the comment. Section expiry, there's when time is incredibly long. I don't see that an issue, but maybe it is. Section termination, users can forcibly terminate this section. Yes, by clicking the lockout right here. And then section termination are terminated server side, but reducing an old section leads to an internal error. Let's try that. We copy this one. So we knew that there was some errors in the server from the server side. Log and log in again. In user lab password. Okay, let's try. We can reuse the token. One. There we go. We still get the 500 errors. All right, so that's confirmed the section termination issue. All right, given all of this information, we would already report the following vulnerabilities on the security assessment: excessive session lifetimes. We would also need to investigate for allowing for investigate. We also need to investigate the following further: access control on API endpoints, web application logs for the accountability of actions. All right, so we have successfully exploited this web application. Let's try answering these questions. What is the username of user? Okay, that's TryHackMe's user. How many lecturers are registered on the application? There was only one. Including the unauthenticated user, how many roles does the application have? We have admin, we have user, we have admin, we have students, and we have lecturer. So we have 3. How many tests terms total in the application? Oh, I forgot. Sorry. You know what? Let's try logging again. Go to network tab. I think by providing these 2 information, it should be enough. So now we change the role from student to admin. Refresh the page. How many tests? 2 tests. What is the highest score student one has achieved on the test? Total tests 2. Wait, how come there only one? Oh, attempts, we have attempts here. How many test attempts in total have been performed? Okay, what's the highest score that student 1 has achieved? Student 1, okay. We have 4 attempts. By student 1, the highest score is 3. Okay. What is the sequence of the correct answers for the database type test? Why? Okay, separate the okay. So as an admin, we can see a test right here. So yes, no, no. Okay. Y, M, N. Flip. Can. Conclusion. Defenses. To defend against these attacks, it is important to implement a secure session management lifecycle. While several items were touched on in this room, let's take a look at the recap. The session's values must be stored securely, regardless of being a cookie or a token. The session values themselves must be either sufficiently random or non-guessable, or use a signing mechanism to ensure that they cannot be tampered with. Sections should be used to track user actions and perform authorization checks to ensure that user can perform request action. Sections should expire after a set amount of time and to prevent them from being used for persistent access. If the logout button is pressed, the section should be removed client-side and invalidated on the server side. Otherwise, a user would be unable to destroy the session if it is compromised. Okay, so that's it for this room. Understanding the basic concepts of session management, session life cycles, and the difference between authorizations and authentications will help you a lot in defending and protecting such sessions in the applications. Now, I know this one is focuses more on the cookie-based session management. In the future room, we go over the token-based we'll go over some token-based session management labs. We'll be mainly focused on some vulnerabilities in the JWT, which is JSON Web Tokens. And if you're interested, please subscribe and get some notification for the new video coming out. And now, thank you very much for watching. And if you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to help. See you. Bye.